Hi guys, and welcome to another Rommel's Lovechild video. This is going to be my first one that's going to be loaded up primarily on Dailymotion and then YouTube secondarily. So we'll see how this goes. And we're going to have a look at the Tier 2 Italian tanks today. We're going to start off with the L6/40. And at the moment you can see that we can upgrade cannon, we can upgrade the engine, we can upgrade the tracks. I would certainly, as soon as you can, upgrade the engine and the tracks straight away, because the extra horsepower is much needed to get you that little bit of acceleration from 70 to 108. It's quite a big difference in terms of percentage, and it does make a noticeable difference to your acceleration. Now let's have a look at the stats. Now bear in mind I have not retrain my crew because I don't intend to keep this long necessarily, this tank. Most of the other Italian tanks are mediums, so I'm not going to keep this tank as a light crew tank. I'm going to train them a light tank crew. I'm going to train them up as a medium tank crew. So I've got some red symbols down the side here about my stats. But first of all, we've got a choice of two guns. We've got the Cannoni Da 3740, and we've got the Breda 20 cal. And obviously the Breda is magazine, it's an auto loader. It's got 12 shots in the magazine, 0.25 seconds between shots, average damage of 38, or penetration of 38, average damage of 11, which means in theory you can do like about 120 odd damage per magazine. Obviously you've got to take into account there RNG, you're going to do a little bit more, a little bit less than the 11, but not too much. Aiming time 1.6 is pretty good, but that's every time you click the trigger, so if you press and hold down it's going to get bigger and bigger and be less accurate. A 400 meter firing range, that's not very long, but it's not particularly accurate at 0.47. Okay, so the other gun, 3740, is a standard gun, 37mm caliber. 24 rounds per minute, 39 penetration, so slightly better, but it's not a lot, it's not going to make much of a difference. 40 average damage, so you're going to do more damage per shot, and 0.42 dispersion. Obviously, the Breda gun has got better DPM, damage per minute, but it requires you to be up close and personal, so it depends how you want to play. If you want to hide towards the back and be more of a support tank, the gun Cannoni Da 3740 is going to be a gun of choice. If you want to get up there and brawl, your Breda is going to be a gun of choice. And the Breda is in fact the gun I got the Mark of Excellence with. So, moving on. 12 degrees depression, so theoretically good for getting hull down and stuff like that. Aiming time, as I said, that's going to be larger for my tank because I don't have a full percent crew. 170 hit points, 30 mils at the front, 15 at the side on both the turret and the sides. But what you will notice is, although this frontal bit here is fairly nicely sloped, this bit here is quite large and quite flat, so you're going to get penetrated there. No problems by most stuff. The turret, you might bounce a little bit more because some of it is angled. However, again, from my experience, most things have got no problems going straight through the turret on this. Top speed, 42.3 kilometers per hour forward, 15 backwards, so not quite following the standard Italian tank, sort of stereotype of Italian tanks going quicker backwards and forwards. Obviously that's a myth. Concealment's not bad, 15.33 when it's stationary, 11.6 when it's moving, and obviously my view ranges are decreased from the normal values because I don't have a full crew, so it's in fact 34 bigger, so it's about 310. Okay, standard layout, first aid kit, repair kit, you can, if you have them, equip camo net and also the binocular telescopes to help you out. But let's go and have a little look at the gun and how it performs in battle. And here we go, we're on Himmelsdorf. Standard battle. You can quite like the new tiling effect that they've got down here. That's quite nice in the new game. Now, with this gun and with this tank, you probably want to try and hide as much of your tank as possible. You're a big target, and try and use the gun for a little bit of sniping. You're not going to bounce shots reliably. I'm looking down, the the list of tanks on the other side and notice the 2 Italian medium tanks that we've got at the top of their tree. Now, they have got a good turret armour, which I'll struggle to penetrate, and they're a danger, and I want to avoid them if possible. The medium 2, it's got a big gun, but I should be able to penetrate it without any problems, even if I just used high explosives. The M2 Light, always a danger, and there's 2 of those on the enemy team, and the Cruiser's a danger as well. So I'm going to go down what I often refer to as Banana Road, this bit here, and see if I can hide most of my tank apart from the turret and snipe the enemy tanks out. We'll see how that goes. So we can see that Cruiser's firing at me, not damaging me through my turret. Don't want to get into a fight with that medium if I can avoid it. Although he's less accurate than me. If I minimise my target, which I'm trying to do with the way I'm hiding behind this pile here, I should be alright. So aim for the nice bigger target there on the medium. Pump a shot into him. And I'm hoping this Cruiser's going to pop out. Doesn't look like it, so I can push forwards a little bit now. With the cover of our M1441. I want to be careful poking around this corner, because there we go, he's waiting for me. One in his cupola, and then start to push up. But I need to watch out because we've got this guy on the hill up here. He might start firing back at us. Got another L640 there. He's obviously decided on target number 1. I'll try and again keep as much of my tank spot hidden as possible behind the rock, and I'm getting shot by the guy up on the top. Should have paid more attention there, that's my fault. So, don't really get to show you too much there, but the gun, yeah, it's reasonable. Not going to set the world alight. The tank, again, like the tier 1, is fairly average in its performance. So we'll watch the rest of this battle and see how it goes. Not quite sure what this Hago is trying to do. Reversing and driving forwards randomly. And there we go, battle's done. So, not a great game for me. Finishing mid-table, that's alright, but we got the victory, and that's what counts. Now we'll have a little look at the other gun, the Breda. As I said, this changes the style of play significantly because of the lack of accuracy on the move. Rather annoyingly, this is not the best map for a autoloader on a tank like this. I'd have been better off sticking with the other gun, but that's World of Tanks for you. You don't get to pick the appropriate gun for the map. Because otherwise on all the city maps everyone would have the big derp guns with the high alpha and then save the more accurate but less damaging guns for longer range maps. Keeps it fresh. So because I've got the autoloader, I'm going to head up into the town area because over distance this thing rapidly loses penetration, so you're not going to snipe very effectively. Plus its accuracy over distance, as you can see by the targeting reticle there, is massive. Okay, massively inaccurate, so you're not going to hit much. You'll struggle to hit a barn door from a distance. struggle to hit these houses even from this distance. So rather than going up the hill, because I don't want to get involved in a sniping fight like that, I'm going to go in to the buildings. What I don't mind is getting up close and personal, round a corner, fire my shots off, and then pulling out the way again. Might be I'll ambush this light Vic up here as well. Yep, there we go. Oh, not quite. I know I've been spotted though, so I don't want to hang around. And there's a T2 medium, that could be quite dangerous for me. There, I've got a good gun on them. Accurate. So I'm aiming for his back kind of area to try and set him on fire. Oh, the light Vic has found me, and there we go. So, again, even with this gun, although I did get Ace Tanker with this gun on, it feels kind of a little bit meh as a tank. It's okay. It's not brilliant, but it's not the best either. Anyway, I will do a little bit more playing and see if I can get a really good game to show you some of the strengths, and then we'll have a little discuss about some of the tactics. So after a couple of games I managed to get quite a good game with the autocannon, which you can see I've got on there. Tier 2 on Abbey and Standard Battle. You can see they've got quite a few of those, the Italian mediums, which I don't really want to be coming up to in a hold down position, and after my last game on this map I've decided instead of going into the town I'm going to try and come down here, because up here you can still get some close quarters or relatively close quarters scrapping. So I've just taken a sip of coffee, so I'll start a little bit late. Managed to dodge the H35 and the Panzer 38H and then almost drive straight into the T7 car. Dodge him though. Don't want to have a bit of ramming damage early on. And then I'm looking at the two trees of the people who are playing, and I notice on our team we've got Panzer 38H, which are ridiculously invincible. They're really OP for the team, and this is my view of what I'm looking at the moment. So I turn to look at him to show you him. In fact, this is a rare premium tank. It's got really thick armour, and then oh shit, I drive off the edge, which was not what I intended. So if I rewind a little bit, we'll see exactly what happened there and the spectacular crash I had. So back up to normal speed. Here you can see I've turned my turret because I'm looking at that Panzer 38H, but I've not really paying attention because there's this cliff here. I notice it too late, and how I don't damage my tank, how I don't land up on my side or on my back and out of the game, I don't know. But I managed, I survived. But I decide I'm going to follow the Panzer 38H because of his thick armour. He's a bit slow. I'm going to give him a shove to help him get up the hill. I've got no problem getting up the hill. He does though, so I'll give him a shove. And I'll speed up a little bit here. However, disappointingly goes and camps in that corner there rather than pushing to the front to make use of that thick armour. I push up to help these two guys up here, and I get to this point and I start slowing down a little bit because I suspect there's going to be a tank, and sure enough there is. And I empty as much of my autocannon into him as possible, but as we notice only the first real round volley penetrates his armour. Now I'm trying to use this bit of a rock to shield as much of my hull as possible and just keep my turret exposed. As we can see, he's managed to penetrate me in the side of the turret there. You can just see that little hole, so I rock backwards and forwards whilst trying to shoot. This UCR2 pounder wants to take up my same position, but I also notice his T1E6 is coming behind me. He's firing gold, but I managed to unload as many shots into him as possible. I try and angle my armour a bit there to try and bounce some of his shots. I think I managed. I'll just check. Can't be bothered, but I think I managed to bounce one or two of his shots. I'll check in when I review the video. Then I come back here. Again, I'm trying to use the shape of the tank. Okay, so the turret is slightly on the right hand side as we look at from it here, so if I can just poke out that side from behind this rocky ridge in front of me here, then that's beneficial for me. I'm minimising my target area. This T45 and me, we're in a bit of trouble here. So we got T46 we've got the L640 and we've got this M41. Try and track, fail to, but I do manage to do some damage to him. Then the L640 comes out, I just aim in his general direction and unload my clip to finish him off. And the T26 puts another one into me. You can see again that nice big hole right in the centre of my frontal armour. That flat bit that I mentioned earlier would be a weakness. Pull forwards again, trying to use that rock line, just stick my turret out, take out this T26. What we'll find out at the end of the battle is I've actually taken out his engine, which is why he sits there, and lets the T45 take him out. Now the Panther 38H has come into the battle, and this M1441 has seen the writing on the cards. He's one of the last two left. There's 3 people against him, and so we all charge forwards, and the T45 gets the last kill, and so I'll make sure I say good game. Okay, so that was the battle, and we'll go back to the garage and we'll see what the results look like. And here's the aftermath of that battle there. So got second class mastery, got sharpshooter for hitting enemy vehicles with more than 10 consecutive shots, got duelist for destroying at least 2 enemy vehicles that cause damage to my vehicle, and I got fire for effect, cause more damage to enemy vehicles than the hit points of your vehicle. So I did 361 damage myself with 31 penetrations, 2 kills obviously, and took out the L640 on their team. I bounced some shots of his, sorry, and knocked out the engine on the T26, which is always useful, immobilises him, helps your team vastly. On the T1E6, ammo wrapped him and hit his track as well. Alright, so furthermore, 22 shots damage blocked by my armour, which we'll discuss in the video, using the turret and a little bit of angling to help me there. And all in all, decent battle. Alright, thank you very much. See you later. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and encourage people to start using Dailymotion. Cheers, bye.